9th of February, Thursday, 2012. Just to Mangalacharanam, Ramo Rajamanis Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bhyata Nishacharachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Raman Nasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasyata Sosmyaham Rame Chittale Sada Bhutame Bhorama Mamuddhara Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattuliyam Rama Nama Varandane Shri Rama Nama Varandana Ondama Iti Atha Shri Maheshwara Sutrani I Un Rulruk E Ong I Auch Hayavarat Halanya Anya Manga Na Nam Jabain Ghadadash Jabagadash Kapha Chata Chata Tava Kapai Sha Sar Hal Iti Maheshwara Sutrani. Okay. Again, today is 9th of February, Thursday. Raghuvamsham Dvadash Sarga Ashta Atva Ashta Saptatitamas Sarga Ashta Saptatitamaha Atva Ashta Saptatitamas Sarga. I mean, Shloka 78th verse. Ashta Saptatitamaha Atva Ashta Saptatitamaha. Okay, let us start. So last time we already looked at this verse. We already translated that. Just looking at some Vyakaranam. Let's read one more time. Punareka Patanam. Samaruti Samanita Mahaushadhi Hatavyataha Lanka Strinam Punaschakre Vilapacharya Sharaihi. Samaruti Samanita Mahaushadhi Hatavyataha Lanka Strinam Punaschakre Vilapacharya Sharaihi. Padacheda is Saha Lakshmanaha. Saha Lakshmanaha. You can look at the commentary. Saha Lakshmanaha. Maruti Samanita Mahaushadhi Hatavyataha is Samastam Padam, which we analyzed last time. Tasya Vigraha Vakyam Drishtam Asmabhi. And then Lanka Strinam Punaha Chakre Vilapacharyakam Sharaihi. The only difficult word in this entire shloka is this Acharyakam. Acharyakam. This is a special sutram which we have encountered that in the Ramayana class in Sundarkandam. Ramaniyakam we had that Ramaniyakam, excuse me, because the Pratya is we. So this is a special sutram, so that the word Ramaniyakam we had encountered in the Sundarkandam class, but it is not used that often because it has several special conditions on that. Now let me just see. I think Ramaniyakam you have used that Ramaniyakam. Let us see. Yeah, Ramaniyakam. So Ramaniyasya bhavaha Ramaniyakam. Atva karma Ramaniyakam. So atra agre Ramaniyakam vartate. It's very beautiful ahead over here. It's very nice. So Ramaniyakam. Now looking at the number itself, you can quickly recognize the topic, I hope. We just had this yesterday's class. Look, number is 51132. Sutram is Yopadhad Grupottamad Vi. Grupottamad Vi. Yopadhad Grupottamad Vi. Look at the number 51132. Just yesterday we were talking about this. Yesterday we were talking about Adhikara of Tasya Bhavastvatalav, which now we have seen repeatedly many times. So the sutram is the Adhikara is Tasya Bhavastvatalav. In fact, just yesterday's class we saw this Prutvadibhya Imanijva, then the Varna Dridadibhya Shaincha, Gunavachana Brahmanadibhya Karmanicha. In fact, we also saw this one, Hayananta Yuvadibhyo An. We saw Igantachalagu Purvat. We saw that. So right after Igantachalagu Purvat comes this sutram. Yopathat Grupottamad Vi. So already saying is that it's prescribing pratyaya. Now, as we said, this adhikara goes till the end of the padaha, tasya bhavaha. And then karmanicha joins in from 51124. This is pratyaya going to be added in the meaning of bhavaha atva karma. Tasya bhava karma va. So it's somebody, thatness, the state of somebody, the status of somebody, or the duty or the action or the activity of somebody, profession of somebody. So the pratyaya being prescribed is we is the pratyaya, we. Now in we, of course, yuvaranakau. Yuvaranakau, if you see a pratyaya with a u or a wu in it, always think of 711 yuvaranakau, which I told you many times. My teacher always drummed it in my head. Any pratyayadeshaha, they come in the beginning of 7.1, and the very first sutram is yuvaranakau. So pratyaya will become aka. Aka. So wu iti etasya sthane aka adeshaha. So it will be anekachi sarvasya. So the aka will come. So the ending chavarga panchama as an it will allow us to do the adi vriddhi by tadhyateshvacham adehe. And then conditions are yopadhat, yakara should be upadha. And guru upottamat means that the third last, which means before the yakara, should be a guru. Right now, what do we have? We have the word acharya. Acharya. So let's get into that doc. I think we did this last time. We'll do it anyway, but just one more time for us, because this is not a very common sutram. But good thing is that now we have, if you know the Ashtadhyayi structure well, looking at the number, even if you don't know the exact sutram, you know exactly what context it is. So it is very easy to kind of, make sense of it quickly. That's the idea of learning the Ashtadhyayi well. So rather than having to struggle with the sutram too much, we can look at it and make sense of it without too much trouble. So okay, so here it is. The prakriya, I think we did this last time, is acharyasya bhavaha karma va acharyakam. So the adhikara is tasya bhavaha tvatalau and karmanicha. So it's shashtiyantam at the pratyaya wing. This again I just copied paste from the Sundarkandam class. We had the word ramaniya come over there. So now this special sutram 5132, which is that yopadhat grupottamad we. So we just check the conditions. We have acharya. So the upadha is acharya. So we have the upadha as a yakara, and then prior to that we have a guru. The akara is guru. So guru pottamad. So yopadhat guru pottamad wing. So yakara acharya. So that yakara is the upadha, yopadhat. And then guru pottamat. Guru pottamat is the prior, is a vowel, is a guru. So now then actually what I should say is that because we have acharya, so we have repa, yakara, akara. So it doesn't necessarily mean third last, I guess. So upottama. Upottama just means prior to that. Because here we have, what we have here is the word acharya. So we have like this, right? So acharya. This is what we have, acharya. Acharya. So we have the yopadha is fine, but it's not like exactly the third last, because we say guru and laghu, only vowels have guru and laghu. So the prior vowel should be guru. I guess this is what I should say. Okay, let me just check quickly because I was thinking the upottama is third last. Upottama is third last, but I guess the third last here is the repa. It's not the akaraha. So let me just check the exact definition of upottama. Upottama. Let me just see what Abhyankara says. Upottama. Upottama. Literally the one near or before the last. The term is generally used in connection with words having two or more syllables. It means the vowel before the last vowel. Okay, that's what it is. The vowel before the last vowel. Okay, so I made the correction there. So upottama means it means it's the vowel before the last vowel. Upottama. So upottama is vowel before the last vowel. This is what I always say. Unless you try to teach somebody, you will never learn anything. Adhyapanadeva jnanam dridam bhavati. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Is this in this context you brought the anushanga?
No, anushanga is a nakara. Anushanga is a penultimate nakara. So that, in fact, I'll do that one also while we have Abhyankara in our hand. Anushanga is the penultimate nasal. Penultimate, not any nakara, sorry, penultimate nasal. So anushanga is the penultimate nasal of a root or noun base. That's anushanga. So that's different. So that's only different in nasal sound, panchama or panchamarana. It should be penultimate. So that should be upadha, which is a nasal sound. This one, which is the upottama, upottama is the vowel before the last vowel. So that is the vowel before. So I guess uttamaha is the last vowel. And upottama means like pre to last. So okay, so good, we got clarified that. So upottama, upottamaha is vowel before the last vowel. This I said, this book is very good. Abhyankar's book is very, very good. It is an authoritative book and it gives us any technical term. It so beautifully gives that one. And again, I have a real affinity for that book because the author unfortunately had a very tragic death when I was a young boy. Anyway, so that book, please use that book for Abhyankar. It's a very good book, Dictionary of Sanskrit Grammar. Okay, acharyasya bhavaha karmava acharyakam. So now let's check it one more time. We have the yakara as upadha, and the vowel before the last vowel is the akaraha. So that is the guru. So that is this akara over here. That is the vowel before the last vowel, because acharya, ending akara, then the akara. Okay, so then what we apply, once we get everything in place, the rest of it is straightforward. You do anubandha lopa halantyam, then prajapadika sanya samudayaha, then supo dhatu prajapadikayoho, yuvaranakau, aka adeshaha, and then we apply, of course, tadhiteshvacham adehe, because we have uchavarga panchama as a nitya. It doesn't really make a difference in here because anyway we have acharya already. So this step doesn't make any difference. We already have acharya. So we already have a vriddhi in the beginning for the first vowel, I should say. Then yachivam yasyaticha acharya. I think last time I read you the Professor Devdhar's notes. So let me, if you want, I can read one more time to you. We read it last time anyway. So what he says is that, because he comments on this, he says acharyakam equals acharyasya karma, acharya plus wing. According to the sutra mentioned by the commentator, this affix is added to polysyllabic words having yakara for penultimate and having a long penultimate syllable. That's what I mean. Penultimate syllable. So that's what, so as opposed to upadha. Upadha is a penultimate letter, while upottama has a penultimate syllable, penultimate vowel. Okay. In the sense of nature or action thereof. Thus, ramaniyasya bhava ramaniyakam. That's what it means. So basically, he killed their husbands and then taught them how to cry. That's what it says. Okay. So now, rest of the shloka, I think, is very straightforward. We looked at the samasa last time. So, marutina samanita. So marutsutena hanumata samanitaya. So these are all Tatpurusha compounds, and once I said too many times, Tatpurusha is Uttara Pradhanaha. So once we form Tatpurusha, if it goes into part of a bigger compound, we can reduce those compounds to the final member. Tatpurusha compound can be reduced to the final member because of the fact that it is a Uttara Pradhanaha. So Pradhanyam is in the Uttarapadam. So when we say Marutina Samanita, then when we want to connect with the bigger compound, we can just say Samanita. Then something Mahati Chasa Aushadhishcha, so Mahoshadhi. So we can just keep it as Aushadhi. And then we can then make it Samanita or Samanita Aushadhi. This is Karmadharya compound. Remember, Karmadharya is a subset of Tatpurushas. We can just keep it as Aushadhi. So we can collapse all of this into just Aushadhi. Because Mahoshadhi is just qualifying, Mahat is qualifying Aushadhi. And then Samanita is also qualifying Aushadhi. So they can all be dropped. And then he said Aushadhya Hata. So Aushadhya Hata, again Tatpurusha compound. You can just keep Hata now. So simple, the Mula Samasaha, Mukhya Samasaha is, Mukhya Anshaha is Hatavyataha. And that in Gita, already we've seen Gatavyata and Gita. So it means that Hata Vyatha Yasya Saha. And we get Pumvad Bhavaha. Pumvad Bhavaha, we've seen that also many times in a Bahuvri compound. When we have a feminine as the final member, there's a feminine adjective qualifying it prior to that, then that feminine adjective gets the Pumvad Bhava. I mean, dropping some details We spent the whole class on that. So if you want to get more details on that, you can listen to Wednesday class recording. But sutram is striyaha pungvat bhashita pumskadanung samanadhikarane striyam apurani priyadishu. Apurani priyadishu. Sutram is 6334. Striyaha pungvat bhashita pumskadanung samanadhikarane striyam apurani priyadishu. If you have karmadharya compound, you use 6342. Pungvat karmadharya jatiya deshiyeshu. That is, this one has some complications. This has some exceptions to it, like apurani, priyadishu, anung, etc. While in karmadharya, it's more straightforward, just straightforward. Pungvat karmadharya jatiya deshiyeshu. So no to think too much. So karmadharya is very straightforward. This bahuvari will have some time. You have to have some other conditions are there. You have to watch out for that. So we get, so by this we get pungvat bhava over here. So what happens is, so first of all it says marutina marussutena hanumata. Marussutena equals hanumata samanita titya tatpurusha. Then taya mahoshadhya, and he gives a name for it, sanjivanya, sanjivani. So sanjivani. So say sanjivini over here. Okay, sanjivinya. I guess you can get sanjivani, sanjivini also. Okay, let me see. Let me just double check that, because sanjivani, if you take it like that, it will be the pratyaya lyut. Sanjivini, the pratyaya will be nini. I think both are possible here. Sanjivini and sanjivani. Let me just double check. I hope that's not a typo. Okay, Sanjivini. Yeah, Sanjivini. So Jivini is taken. Okay, so Jivini. Pratyaya is most likely Nini being applied over. So Sanjivinya. Sanjivinya hatavyata. So maybe the example I was giving before. Let me just check it up. Give me 1 second, please. I thought Sanjivani also was possible. Sanjivani was, let me see if I can find it over here. Sanjivani. Sanjiva. If I can look for that. Let me see. Sanjiva. Because I was thinking that Sanjivani is formed by using the Sanji, to live, to exist, to restore to life, to maintain Narishya. Sanjivanam. Sanjivani. Yeah. It's a kind of said to restore dead to life. Okay, so it's okay. So Sanjivani also is there and Sanjivini also is there. Okay, so I wasn't too far off. So Sanjivani is a pratyaya lyut. So my thing was Sanjivyate anayati Sanjivani pratyaya ana, and then pratyaya ni on top of Sanjivani. But here is taken Sanjivini is taken at. Yes, sir, Nagaraj. Yes, sir.
I have always this problem, like for example, Hamsavahani, Hamsavahini. Hamsavahini is the right son, Hamsa, and Vahini goes by
yes,
Hamsa.
That
both are correct.
Both in one place, the pratyaya lyut will come, So Hamsa, Hamsa. So I think that see Hamsavahini. You can see one test besides this. See, now you're talking about now also you can look at the pratyaya also initanav, right? Atta initanav.
Right.
So Hamsa eva vahanam. Yasyaha sa Hamsa asyaha iti Hamsa. So one who has that. But see here, this is a dhatu here. So there's two different things. Now it's only a dhatu we are adding. Correct?
Okay.
So this is only it's only a dhatu. Okay, now that we bought this whole thing, so what you're talking about is the Tadita formation, Hamsavahini. So that will be, we can use the Atta Initanav. Atta Initanav, which you're looking at yesterday. So we can say one who has the swan as the vehicle. So Hamsa, first you make Hamsa Vahanam, you make it like a Karmadharya compound. Hamsa Eva Vahanam. Then Vahanam Asya Asti. Asyaha Astiti Hamsavahini. So that's one way to do it. Now, this is that, I think that would be Hamsavahini, Hamsavahini. So that's one more thing. And one more thing is that, is we can also take it. There's one more complication, is that there's a pratyaya liu. Pratyaya liu in the sense of, this one. 134. Nandi grihipachadibhyo liudinya chaha. Like Lamana Maharshi, Madhusudana, all the Vibhishana. So these also take pratyaya liu. But they'll become Vahana then. The liu doesn't have a lyut over there. So it doesn't have a lyut. So now see, if you take Hamsa Vahani, then you have to use, probably I would think lyut over there, because you have to find a way to make the pratyaya nip. So Hamsa Vahini is straightforward, because when you end in a nakaraha, runnebhyo nip, like yogini, something like that. So it's very easy. But you make it Hamsa Vahani, and then we have to take it, I think pratyaya lyut might be the one that's used over there. So I think, but Vahini is straightforward. I think Vahani, I'm thinking lyut. Let me think about that. I'll come back to that one. But I think that I've seen both of them correct. So these are all the possibilities here. One is this pratyaya which is liu, which is Nandi Grahe Pachadibhyo, liu ninyacha. This also goes ana. But this will not take a pratyaya nip. So that will not be a possibility if you have an ending ikaraha. Then we see the pratyaya which is, of course, lyut, which we saw, lyut. So like tarjani, lekhani. So these are all the pratyaya lyut. So but that's not in the compound formation. So we have to form that separately first, and then make it. So that one is the one which we saw yesterday, which is the lyutcha. And more important, not lucha. Lucha makes only neuter nouns. Karanadakaranyoscha. That would be a possibility. Karanadakaranyoscha. Then the pratyaya, which is ata initanau. So the one who has that one, ata initanau. So that one will be going to 52115. So Hamsa Vahini, when you say, then that will be, I think, pretty confidently ata initanau. Now we can also say that, let's not forget one more thing. And that is this pratyaya, which is nini pratyaya, into forming upapada samasaha. Nini pratyaya, upapada samasaha, which is by 3278, which is saying that supya jatau ninistachilye. That is 3278. That's the upapada samasaha. So now right now Sanjeevini, I think we can use this one, 3278, Sanjeevini. So Jeev, like, Pravasi, like that, so Sanjeevini. So that is, you can put the ini by 327. If you have Sanjeevani, then you have to use the Karanadikarana Yoscha. So I'm thinking. Let me put in a document these two. So you can derive these forms for homework if you want. So let me see. So Sanjeevani, thinking you have to use 33117 followed by the lyut 4115, and then if you want to use Sanjeevini. This, I think we have to use 3278 followed by Runnebhyo Nip. So this is by Tidhani and this is by Runnebhyo Nip. So we have to finally get the pratyaya nip somehow to get the ending ikaraha. So we get Runnebhyo Nip, and then which you make it Sanjeevini pratyaya, nini pratyaya, and then did Sanjeevani, you use this one. Okay, so he gives a name to Mahoshadhi called Sanjeevinya, and then Hata Vyataha, no commentary, straight for compound, Hata Vyatha Yasya Saha. Now the end of this Vyatha, this also takes a Rasva Deshaha by Gos Triyo Rupasajanasya by 1248. So these two things, the Bahuvari compound, the ending, if it has a Stri Pratyaya at the end or the Gosh Shabda at the end, takes the Rasva Deshaha. While the prior member takes the Pumvat Bhava, which is 334. You keep these two very clearly in your mind. This Pumvat Bhava and Rasvadesha. Rasvadesha comes at the end of a Bahuvrihi, which has Sri Pratyaya at the end, meaning a word with a Sri Pratyaya at the end, or the Go Shabdaha. While the Pumvad Bhava comes if you have an adjective qualifying a feminine Uttarapadam. So in this case, we have both of them. So we have Hata Vyatha Yasaha. So that Hata becomes Hata, this Pumvad Bhava, 6334. And the end of the compound, the Hata Vyatha becomes Hata Vyatha. That's 1248. 1248. Okay, so look at these two rules for homework. 1248. Rasvadesha at the end of the Pratipadikam. And then Pumvad Bhava with 6334. Gita example. Sita prajnasya ka bhasha sam sita prajnyaha. Sita prajnya yasya saha. Sita prajnyaha. That's in chapter number 2, I think maybe 55-ish. Yeah. Yes, Sita prajnasya ka bhasha. 54. Okay. Same. And in fact, in Gita also comes this word Gatavyataha. Gatavyataha is in Gita number 12.16. So same thing, same formation. So Gita should always be at your mind, constantly in the playback in your mind. So 12.16 comes this formation, which is Gatam Vyataha. Same thing, Gata Vyatha Yasyasaha. And then finally he goes on to described sun being thus, being so. Punaha Sharaihi. Sharaihi is the instrument now. Karana Bhutaihi are the instruments by means of his arrows. Lanka Strinam Vilape Paridevane. Tatraka Paridevana comes in Gita. Paridevanam. Paridev is to lament. Vilape Paridevane is to lamentation. Vilapaha Paridevanam Ityamara. He quotes Amarakoshaha. Acharyakam Acharya Karma. We just saw that. Acharyasya Karma. Yopatat Grupotamad Vi. Iti Vai Chakre. Means he gives the Saramshaha. The bhava of the shloka is Punarapi Rakshasan Jaghana iti Vyajyate. Punarapi Rakshasan Jaghana. Of course, Jaghana, we've seen this form in the daily post already. The Dhatu Han, Litlakaraha, iti Vyajyate. So Vyajyate means it's expressed. It's a passive form. Vyajyate. So what is expressed here is that, what is implied here is that, what is suggested here is that Punarapi Lakshmanaha Rakshasan Jaghana. He taught the Rakshasa's wife to lament. So, or literally speaking, he did the job of a teacher in the subject of lamenting. With regard to the Rakshasa's wives, means that he taught them how to lament. So he did the job of a teacher in the subject of the lamentation of the Rakshasa's wives. Means he killed their husband, basically what it means. We already did the Bhashanuvadha last time. So Lakshmanaha is Saha Lakshmanaha. Having his pain removed is the Hata Vyatha Yasya Saha. By the great medicinal plant is Mahoshadhya. And this Mahati Aushadhi, Mahoshadhi. And Mahati Aushadhi, Mahoshadhi. We'll talk about Mahati Aushadhi. I think it's Aushadhi. I think they have Aushadhi, they might have both of them, but I think Aushadhi will work. Brought to him is Samanita. By Maruti is Marutina Samanita Titya Samasaha. Again is Punaha. Performed is Chakre. We did this last time. In the class. And then the duty of a tutor is Acharyakam. In is a Saptami. Teaching lamentation is that is Vilape. Paridevane. To the women of Lanka, this is a straightforward Shashti Samasa, Lankayaha Strinam, Lanka Strinam. By means of his arrows, that's Tritya Vibhakti. That is the Karane Titiya, Sharaihi. That is, he caused the women of Lanka to bewail the death of their husbands. So here what we have is that, just I put one more couple of comments over here, is the, this one we just did in the prior class, we've done this one. Mriyate anena vruddhena vinava iti marutta. So marut is, vayu. Derived from this. So without which, or by too much of which, or without which, a person dies. So without which or by too much of which somebody dies. So mriyate anena vruddhena vinava. So by too much of air or no air, person can die. So this is Unadi Sutram. It derives the word marut 1.94. This is just a copy paste from a prior class. And then Uran Raparaha, and we get the gunadesha. And then marut eva marutah. So prajnadibhyascha swarte pratyand comes swarte prajnadibhyascha. So these ganas, like Marut is same as Marut, Manasa and Manasa, Rakshasa and Rakshasa. So, Bandhu and Bandhava. So, all these forms is a Swarte, Pratyaya And. So, the And comes without changing the meaning. We get the Anubandha Lopa and Adi Vriddhita Ditesha Shamadehe. We get the form Maruta. And then Marutasya Patyam Puman Marutihi. Just yesterday we derived the form Dasharatihi and Varunihi. Same thing here. We get the Ataini. So Tasyapatyam and Atai, just derived it yesterday in the class. So, and then Supluk and Anubandha Lopaha. Then Adi Vriddhi already is there. So we get Maruti. Yachivam Yasyati cha. Maruti. So that is what. Now Mahati cha sa Ushadhihi, Mahoshadhihi. What happened is firstly you get Karmadharya Samasa, Visheshanam Visheshana Bahulam. It's an adjective noun, very simple, straightforward. We have Pumvat Bhavaha, Pumvat Karmadharya, Jatiya Deshiyeshu, Pumvat Karmadharya, Jatiya Deshiyeshu, Pumvat Karmadharya, Jatiya Deshiyeshu. The Karmadharya compound, the prior takes Pumvat Bhavaha. So this Mahati becomes Mahatta. Mahati becomes Mahatta. And then what happens is An Mahataha, Samanadhikarana, Jatiya Yoho. So An Mahataha. So the Mahat takes the Akara Deshaha in the compound which is a Samadhikarana. So when the Samadhikaranam is there, Samadhikarana Padam is there, then we get Mahat takes the Alontyasya, the Takara becomes Akaraha, Akasame Dirkaha becomes Maha, it basically become Maha. Because the Takara becomes the Akara, Akasame Dirkaha becomes Maha. Then of course Vriddhirechi becomes Mahaushadhi. So that was the last time shloka we did. We are finishing off today. I think we got everything here. Let's look at the next one. Next one is also pretty straightforward. I think this is not very complicated. It says, Sanadam Meghanadasya Dhanushchendra Prabham Meghasyeva Sharatkalo Na Kimchit Paryasheshayata. Sanadam Meghanadasya Dhanushchendra Yudha Prabham. Dhanushchendra Yudha Prabham. Dhanushchendra Yudha Prabham. Dhanushchendra Yudha Prabham. Megasyeva Sharatkalo Na Kinchit Paryasheshayata. Padacheda is Saha. Saha Lakshmanaha. From the prior verse, Lakshmanaha. Nadam Meghanadasya Ravanaputrasya Indrajitaha. Of Indrajita. Dhanuho Cha, of course Visarga Sandhi here, Dhanuho Cha, Indrayudha Prabham, Ad Gunaha. So Cha plus Indrayudha become Chendrayudha Prabham. Meghasya Iva, same thing, Ad Gunaha. This is Kalidasa's trademark, is the Iva. Upama Kalidasasya, so Meghasya Iva. Sharatkalaha, Na Kinchit, Paryasheshayata. Paryasheshayata. No, Paryasheshayata is Pari plus Asheshayata. That is the Tingantam Padam. So always attack the Tingantam Padam. The simple sentence is Lakshmanaha na kinchit Paryasheshayata. The dhatu is shish dhatu. So the meaning of that is to distinguish, to qualify, also to leave behind. So here, let's look at apte just to get the meaning. So this is a causative form from that. We could put the nich is there. So this is a rudadikana dhatu, vishinashti, become shinashti. But since this is a causative form, hetumaticha. So here we have, what we have is dhatu shish. Okay, let's see what he gives. So shish dhatu to leave as remainder. To distinguish, these are two meanings of shish, like sheshaha, remainder. So to leave as remainder, to distinguish or discriminate, discriminate from others, to qualify. So here it is to leave as remainder. So na paryasheshayata means he didn't leave anything. He didn't leave even a bit behind. He didn't leave anything behind. Did not leave anything behind. Means completely destroyed. destroyed. So says that, let's see what Malinatha gives. Na paryasheshayata means na avasheshitavan. Same thing, avashish. Avashish also is to leave behind. So that our clarifies the meaning of shish, means that because we say visheshanam. So shish has, since shish has couple of meanings, now when you add the ava, it clarifies the meaning here is to leave behind. And he gives the bhavartha as tam avadhit ityartha, means he completely destroyed him. Tam avadhit. So let's look at these two forms, which is paryasheshayata, pari plus asheshayata, and the avadhit. Now in our Wednesday class, the last lesson, we're going to get the lesson about lung lakarha, lung. So this avadhit is the lung prayogaha. So today we'll do it in brief today. We'll do more of it in the Wednesday class later on. So first of all, Meghanadha is, we already had that in verse number 76. Meghasya nada, nada iva nado yasya saha. So one whose sound is like the rumbling of a cloud. So his sound is like that of rumbling of the thunder. So his sounds like thunder. So Meghasya nada iva nado yasya saha. So Meghasya nada iva nado yasya saha. Like Ushtramukha, or like in the Gita we have Vrukodaraha. Vrukasya udaram iva udaram yasya saha. This we've done many times in the class. So this is the Vartikam 2:24. If you want to go back and refresh your memory, Shloka number 76 we had this. Of course we had it in the Wednesday class in great detail in many classes. So good thing now is that we are seeing nothing that much new is coming to us. So we've seen all these forms, so many times. This is a Vartikam there, Saptamyantam, then Upamanam cha. Purvapadam yasya, tasya padantarena samasaha, uttarapada lopascha bhavati. That's it. So megha sya nada, nada iva nado yasya saha. So megha nada becomes megha nada. So that the uttarapadam of the purvapadam is dropped. Like ushtram. Ushtrasya mukham yo mukham yasya saha. Okay, so now let's derive this. Even this paryashesha, this should be nothing really difficult for us. We've already done the Nijanta Prakriya in our Wednesday class and also in the daily examples in the Saturday class, which has been done twice already now. In the Wednesday class and the Saturday class, the Hetumaticha. And we have seen many posts about this. So, Shishra Visheshane. So Shish plus Pratyay, Nich Hetumaticha. So Hetumaticha. And then, so cause to leave behind. So didn't cause anything to be left behind. Nisi completely destroyed. So, of course, Puganta Lagupatasya Gunadeshaha. Anubandha Lopaha is by Chutu Halantyam. The Dhatu Sanya for Sheshi by Sanadyanta Dhatavaha. And this entire thing we've seen in the prior class. Either Pratya Lang, then Pratya becomes Tiptashji, Anubandha Lopa, Tiptashji, then Itashcha, and then Katri Shab comes in between. Shab does the Gunadesha by Sarvadhatuka Ardhatuka Yoho, and after that Echo Yava Yavaha, and we get the form, and then Adagamaha. Lung Lung Rung Shvadataha. That's how we get the form of Asheshayata. So, and the thing we should look at is the Aya. What is this Aya? This Aya is when the Nich comes, takes, and then after that Shap comes in between there. The Shap does the Gunadesha for Nich, becomes Ekaraha, Echo Yava Yavaha. So if you see the form Aya, Tingantam Padam, check if it's a causative, if Nich is in there. Nich, like in my example in Gita, Buddhim mohaya sivame, tadekam vada nishchitya, yena shreyoham apnuyam. So that is the chapter number 3, shloka number 2 of Gita. That is the Aya, Buddhim mohaya sivame, mohayasi. Buddhim mohaya sivame. So look at this Aya. So, okay, so then, so did not cause anything to be left behind at all. Now, Avadhit is a little bit complicated form. We'll give the steps today. We'll study more of this in the Saturday class coming soon, also in the Wednesday class coming soon. Lakara is lung over here, lung. So what happens here is that, in fact, just day after tomorrow, we could take a look at this adhikar of Ardhadhatuke. See, Ardhadhatuke comes in the Ashtadhyayi in 2 places. One is in 2.4, where Panini gives, adesha in place of dhatus, dhatva adesha. A dhatu will completely change into something else under certain conditions of a pratyaya of a situation where the pratyaya falling is going to be a ardhadhatuka pratyaya. It's called, this is adhika of ardhadhatuka. For example, we're going to see on Saturday these rules, just coming in a couple of days. We're going to see this sutram which is aster bhu. So dhatu as replaced by bhu. When ardhadhatuke, in the context of a pratyaya which is going to come, which is a sanya of ardhadhatukam. Similarly, bruvo vachihi. So bru becomes vach. Then and so on and so forth. So there is a sutram which says that lungi cha. So dhatu han takes the vadha adesha. Lungi cha vadha adesha. So now when we derive this form, it says han himsagatyoho. Han means to kill or even to go. So when we add the pratyaya lung, now we know that when lung comes, there's going to be a pratyaya in the which is sanya of ardhadhatukam. So because the pratyaya sich is going to come in between here. So as soon as we know that, we're going to start off with the vadha adesha, in the context of ardhadhatuke. So then we add anadyatane lung, which lung. The sutram itself is lung. In the bhute adhikara, Pani has a sutram which is called lung. So this is a samanya vihitaha. So lung is a general past tense, we can say. General past tense. So there, lung comes, and then always the first steps anubandha lopaha, upadesha jananasika halantyam, then tiptashi. Then comes anubandha lopaha by halantyam itascha, because we have pratyaya which is parasipada pratyaya, and it has the ikara at the end, and the lakara, it has the kavarga pancham as an it, so by itascha, and ikara takes lopa. So that's the good news. Is the pratyayas in lung look similar to those in lung. Now, simple thing for us to do is that if you see an adagamaha, and there is the three lakaras take the idagamaha. In the situation of three lakaras, in three lakaras we see the idagamaha in three lakaras, which are the lung, lung, rung. Lung, lung, rung, shvadattaha. So now rung is very easy to identify. That has a siya pratyaya in there. So that's very straightforward. It's very rarely used also. So we can drop off the case of the rung very easily, because first of all it's very rarely used. Secondly, that it is very easy to identify because the siya is in there. So normally competition between the difficulty between the lung and the lung. Now in the lung, we know the form generally speaking. The gana vikarana will come in the lung, because we'll get kartari shap or the apavadas for shap. For example, we say abhavat. Abhavat is lung because bhu became bhava by shap coming in there. But a form like abhut. So if I give you these two forms, abhavat and abhut, you can recognize abhavat very easily because you know the form bhavati, etc. So the angakaryam will be same as in lat. So we say bhavati and abhavat, those we know. Since abhut has the adagamaha, it clearly is not lung because there's no siya in there. It has to be lung. Because the reason I'm saying is that lung, there are complicated rules. There are many complicated rules for lung. So it's not worth, I shouldn't say not worth, it's difficult in the beginning to get a handle of them. So the easier way out is you, by process of elimination, eliminate the lung very easily first. Then you can also eliminate the lung quite easily, because those forms we know, because we see what the angam looks like. So if you say for example, apashyat and adrakshit. Now apashyat, you know it is lung lakara. You know the form pashyati. So apashyat is lung. Adrakshit, you can recognize dhatu is drish is in there. Adagama is there, but it's not apashyat. So adrakshit must be lung. Then you can double check that. Once you make a good educated guess, you can then go and look in and guess at that. So here we have the form avadhit. It's a bit more complicated because the han takes the vada adesha. If you know the dhatu is han, you know this is not lung. Lung should be ahan. So now, if it is not lung, it has to be lung, avadhita. So that is what my this is like in 5 minutes. If you want to learn lung in 5 minutes, the simplest thing is that look at the adagama or the adagama, which is ajadi dhatu, and then eliminate the possibility of lung, and that will identify for you the lung forms. Okay, and once you have them, you can go and see the detail. So here vada ade comes, adesha the itascha comes, then comes pratyaya sich, chi lungi chile sich. In the is the D4 pratyaya which comes by, if you want to do some homework, 3143, 314 is apavada for shap. Normally kartri shap should have come, but chi lungi chile sich, the chili pratyaya comes. When lung follows, instead of getting kartri shap, pratyaya chili comes, chili. And the chili becomes sich by default. It may become other things also in other cases. But so here the default is working, so chi lungi chile sich. So sich comes in here. Of course in sich, anubandha lopaha by, upadesha nasiki thalantyam, so you get vadha sa ta. Now what happens here? You get the idagamaha. This vadha is aneka, this is ekach upadesha. This is anekach adesha, because it has this ending akara of vadha is not a marker of it, not uchcharanartham. The adesha is vadha, so it has the ending akara at the end. Remember our Nisheda Sutram, which you have learnt in the Saturday class, is ekach upadeshana datta. This is not a ekach dhatu. This is anekach. So 7 to 10 cannot apply. So we just happily use the ardhadhatuka syed valadehe. And then we get the idagamaha. And then we get the eat agamaha. Astisicho prukte eat. Astisicho prukte. This is one of my teacher's favorite sutram. It is astisicho prukte. We already seen the word like asit. But that time we use the eat agamaha. But this is the other case when the sich pratyaya, astisicho prukte. So following the dhatu as or following the sich pratyaya. If following that, if you have aprukta pratyaya, aprukta ekal pratyaya, then that ekal pratyaya takes the eed agamaha. Of course, adyanta takitav, so we get the eed agamaha. And in the meanwhile, what happens is that we get the ato lopaha, the ending akara of an angam takes lopaha ardhadhatuke. So we get vad is eat. Now we get the adagamaha lung lang rung kshudadataha adagamaha adinto takitav anubandha lopaha balantyam. And now comes this sutram which says ita eeti. Ita eeti says that if you have a sich, a sakara, which is sandwich between the idagamaha and the id agamaha, that sakara takes lopaha. Ita eeti. If you want to do some homework, look at the sutram 8 to 28. In fact, let's look at it quickly right now. Let's look at these three. I know this is some new forms for us today, but we can do some practice. So first, let us practice our astisicho prukte. In fact, that we have already seen a daily example, so that should be not any surprise. Astisicho prukte. That says that vidyamana sichaha. So sich which is present, asteshcha or foreign dhatu as, parasya apruktasya halaha idagamaha. Aprukta single letter. Aprukta ekal pratyaya. So aprukta hal affixed with a single consonant takes the idagamaha, and the following two cases either follows the dhatu as or follows the sich which is present there. So in this case we had the sich following the sich, we had the takara ekal pratyaya. So it took the idagamaha. And then ita eeti. Ita eeti says, okay, let's go to 8 to 28. 8 to 28, ita eeti, 8 to 28, 8 to 28, ita eeti. So here, in fact, coming in 2 days, we will look at the sutram dhicha, and in that same context, ita eeti. Ita eeti is talking sakara lopaha. Sakara pratyaya, sakara lopaha says that itaha parasya, sasya, lopasyat iti pare. So itaha parasya, iti pare. So between idagamaha and id agamaha, if you have a sakaraha, that takes lopaha. Now at this point we have used a sutram from Tripadi section to do sakara lopaha. So normally we should not be able to do akastame dirgha, purvatra siddham. What is a vartikam here? The vartikam says that sig lope ekadesh sig lopaha ekadeshe siddho vachyaha. This sakar lopaha, sig lopaha which is done, if you want to do after that ekadesha, means by akastame dirgha, the sig lopa becomes siddha. So this is a vartikam which, in spite of purvatra siddham, it allows the sich lopa to be seen by akastame dirgha. So otherwise you could not do akastame dirgha. So the sich lopa which is done by ita et becomes siddha in the eyes of akastame dirgha. So we get avadhit. So one more time, this dhatu was han to begin with. The han took vada adesha by lungicha. Sutram is so for homework is 3, 2, 4, 40. So what are the new rules for today? What are the new rules that we've seen? We've seen 2443, which is lungicha, vada adesha. When han is followed by lung, it takes the vada adesha, avad, so vada. That's number 1, lungicha. So look at that one. And then we saw that this one we have seen before, not really new, astisicho prutte. We use this in the case of dhatu as. Today we saw in the case of sich pratyaya. And then this sutram ita iti, sich lopa ita iti. And then the vartikam sich lopa ekadeshe kartavye siddho vachyaha. Let's just take at that one. This is a word in the commentary, something new for today. And otherwise, only thing else over here is that this indrayudham is indrasya ayudham. So this is like indra dhanuho. So this is like the weapon of Indra. Indrayudhasya prabha iva prabha yasya saha. Same thing, indrayudha prabham. Indrayudha prabham. So indrayudha is the weapon of Indra. So this bow of Meghanadaha, of Indrajit, it had the luster, Prabha's luster, or the brilliance or the glamour of the shine, I should say, shine of like Indra's weapon. So like the rainbow is also Indra's weapon. So same way, just like we had Meghanada, Megasya nado iva nada yasya saha. Same thing. Indrayudasya prabha iva prabha yasya. This is qualifying dhanuho. So in Indrayudasya, Indrayudha is straightforward Shashti Samasa. Indrasyayudha. So Indrayudasya, Indrasyayudham, Indrayudham. So Indrayudasya, Prabha iva Prabha yasya. Indrayudha Prabham dhanuho. And then same thing we use because the Prabha is coming at the end of a Bahuri compound, we apply Gos Triyor Prasajanasya Rasvadesha. So these are the only difficult words in this shloka. So say that, let's follow the commentary. Saha Lakshmanaha. Always identify the noun behind the pronoun from the context. We know it's Lakshmanaha because the prior shloka had told us that Lakshmanaha came back to life with that Aushadhi which was brought by Hanuman, and then he killed the Rakshasas and taught the Rakshasa women how to lament. Saha Lakshmanaha. Sharat Kalaha. So look at you have to match the vibhaktis. So we have an upama down here. We have Meghasya in Shashti. Sharat Kalaha is a Sharadaha Kalaha, Sharat Kalaha. The autumn, the time of autumn. It's time of autumn, Sharat Kalaha. So this is the Prathama Ekavachanam. So now look at on top what you have, Meghanadasya. So now Meghanada Indrajit is being compared to a cloud. And then Meghanadasya, then Dhanushaha, Dhanuhu Indra Prabham, and his Saha is Prathama. So Lakshmana. So Lakshmana is being compared to Sharat Kalaha, the autumn time, autumn season. And Meghanada is being compared to the cloud. So how do we know that? Because this is Meghanada says Shashti and Megha says Shashti. Sharat Kala is Prathamantam and Saha is Prathamantam. So it always is a good habit. When the Upama is there, see which Vibhakti is being used. So you know who's taking the Upama. So because Megha says Shashti, Meghanada says Shashti, so Meghanada, Indrajit has a Upama of Megha. And then of course a lot of poetry going on here also. And Lakshmana is the upama of Sharat Kalaha. So Sharat Kalaha Meghaseva. So just like the autumn time would do to a cloud, do for a cloud. What would it do? Meghanadasya Indrajita. He qualifies that Indrajit. So this is a Pratyak quip. In fact, just yesterday we saw this, right? I think we saw it yesterday. I think in yesterday's class, I think we saw this, right? This sutra which you're talking about. Yeah, Upanishad, yes. Our Upanishad. Let's see, where is that? You talked Upanishad in yesterday's class. So this sutra which has the dhatu G mentioned in there. So Indrajit, you can use Indrajit. This is, let's see. Because I know we had this. We talked about Upanishad. And then prior to that, I think we were. Okay, here it is. Here, 3 to 61. Sat, Su, Dvisha, Druha, Duha, Yuja, Vida, Vidash, Vidachida, G. So dhatu G is used. We can, Indrajit, Pratyek. Quip can be. So, Ebhyaha, Quip Syad, Upasarge Satya Sati, Cha, Supyupapade. So, as long as the sup is there, so Indram Jayati. Indrajit. Indram Jayati Indrajit. So, okay. So that's Sutams 8 to 3 to 61. We saw it yesterday's class. So Meghanadasya Indrajitaha. He qualifies who's Meghanada? Indrajitaha. Ravanaputrasya. Nadam. Now with these are double meaning words. This is Shabda Chalaha, I guess. So this is the play on the words Nadaha and the Indrayudha, and he says that Indrayudha Prabham Dhanuhu. So this Nada and Dhanuhu are going both ways with Indrajit and also with the Megha. So that's the play, that's the poetry here. These words are used in double sense. So now what is Nadam is Simhanadam. So Simhasya Nadam, Simhanadam. So Meghanad, Indrajit had this rumbling sound. So if Indrajit's rumbling sound, this deep, profound sound, and Anyatra Garjitam Cha. So what he means is that Anyatra means that in the other case, means Meghasya Garjitam. Indrajitaha Simhanadam. So it's a double meaning word. Is Indrajit applies means that his deep sound, like the sound of a lion. And in the case of the cloud, it is the rumbling of the cloud. So, and they all see this common verb is Paryasheshayata, na kinchit paryasheshayata. So na kinchit is did not leave anything behind. Did not leave anything behind. So na kinchit paryasheshayata. So I think we can take this is that you can take this as an adverb to paryasheshayata, because you know that these neuters, these neuter pronouns or adjectives can be used as adverbs by in the Dvitiya Ekvachanam. So it says Kriya Visheshananam Klibatvam Karmatvam Cha Ishyate. So that kinchit means he left absolutely nothing behind. Absolutely nothing behind. So these are two. This is a double meaning word, means the rumbling, the sound like a lion of Indrajit, or the rumbling of the cloud. So just like the autumn time doesn't leave even a trace of the rumbling of the clouds. Similarly, Lakshmana did not leave absolutely nothing behind of the roaring of Indrajit, which means basically he killed Indrajit. I mean, that's a simple thing. He killed Indrajit is a simple meaning. And then same thing here, Indra Dhanuh Prabham is Shakra Dhanuh Prabham, which has like the Indra the Prabham he gives. Shakra Dhanuh is a rainbow. Rainbow is also a double meaning word. In the case of the cloud, it is the rainbow, which is the bow of Indra. And in the case of Indrajit, it is his bow, which resembled, which had the show of Indra's bow. So that like that. So the kinchit means alpam api. even slightly alpamapi na paryasheshayata, na navasheshitavan, did not leave anything. So he has used the pratyak tavatu to give the meaning, same meaning, avasheshitavan, avasheshitavat. You can use pratyak tavatu, the sutram nishtha 32102. Sutram nishtha taktavatu nishtha in the bhuti adhikaraha. So avasheshitavat pradipadikam declined like bhagavat avasheshitavan means tam avadityarthaha. Simple meaning is that he killed him. He did not leave a single trace behind. Not even a small amount of his lion-like roar was left behind, and not even a small amount of his, even a bit of his arrow, means his bow, was left behind. Just like the autumn time completely destroys the rumbling of the clouds and the rainbows. That's what the meaning is. Okay, let's take the translation. Nagaraj is here. Thanks to him, we have Adhikrita Anuvadakaraha Sada Upasthitaha. You ready, sir?
Yes. All right, thank you.
So Saha is
Lakshmana.
he is Saha.
Lakshmana.
Yeah. Allowed to remain.
Paryasheshayat.
Paryasheshayat. And not. Nothing at all.
No.
I think we'll take na kinchit. Take it together. I think not even little. No, absolutely nothing. Not. Of either, I think is the cha. I think. Oh, is there a cha somewhere here?
Yeah, at the top. Manucha.
Yeah, correct. The cha of either, and the war cries.
Meghanada.
I think nadam only.
Nadam.
Because nadam is war cries. He's taking like simha nadam, like so nadam stands for simha nadam, war cries. Of Meghanada, that is the Meghanadasya. Or that's along with the cha only. His bow is
Dhanu.
But Dhanu, by the way, is Dvitiya Ekavachanam. Dhanus Pratipadikam. So Samo Napunskar Luksyat, that's what it's called. Resplendent as the rainbow. Indrayudha Prabham. So Indrayudhasya Prabha Iva Prabha Yasya Tat. Indrayudhasya Prabha Iva Prabha Yasya Tat. So one whose brilliance luster will like the rainbow. Weapon of Indra. So that's Indrayudha, weapon of Indra. As is what?
Iva.
Maybe you got used to that. As is Iva. In Kalidas, Yatha or Iva is always there. The autumnal season is?
Shratkalaha.
Shradokalaha. Completely annihilates is the common thing between these two. So na kinchit parya sheshayata. So that completely annihilates. So the thunders is nadam. Nadam goes both ways because he says in one case nadam is simha nadam, the war cry, and another anyatra garjitam. That's the thunder. This is a double play. Nadam goes with meghasya and meghanadasya. Of the clouds is
Meghasya.
And the rainbow again Indrayudha. Dhanu. Sorry, Dhanu. Dhanuhu Indrayudha Prabham. So that is the same thing. The rainbow also goes both ways. This bow goes both ways also. So Nadam and Dhanuhu go both ways. So yeah, you see this sometimes. Thank you, sir. Sometimes you see this kind of poetry where the words are being double meanings, top and bottom are being used. Okay, let's take the next one, which is also a little bit poetic here. Kumbhakarnaha kapindrena tulyavasataha swasukritaha Rodha Ramam Shungiva Tankachinna Manashilaha Kumbhakarnaha Kapindrena Tulyavasataha Swasukritaha Rodha Ramam Shungiva Tankachinna Manashilaha. So Kumbhakarnaha is a straightforward Bahuvi compound. It says that Kumbhav iva karnau yasya saha. So one whose ears are like pots. So Kumbhav iva karnau yasya saha. Straightforward Bahuvi compound. And Kapindrena is also a Kapinam Indraha. So Nayakaha, Sheshtaha, so Raja. So who's the leader of the monkeys? Kapi Indrena Tulya Avastha. This is a Bahuri compound. Tulya Avastha Yasya Saha. So the similar state, one who has a similar state. So Tulya Avastha Yasya Saha. Same kind of compound again, like Visita Pradnya that we had. So Tulya Avastha Yasya Saha. Same thing, Pumvad Bhavaha for the prior member by 6334. Striya Pumvad Bhashit Pumsakadanung Samadhikarane Striyam Apurani Priyadishu. So Sutram is same Sutram which we just saw, the Pumvad Bhava 6034, which is Striyah Pumvad Bhashita Pumsakadanung Striyah Pumvad Bhashita Pumsakadanung Samadhikarane Striyam Apurani Priyadishu. And then the Uttara Padam gets the Rasvadesha by Gosti Rupasajanasya. Exact same thing, Sthita Pradnya, Tulyavastha, same thing. Which we just saw that here, just now we saw that in the, which one was that? We just saw everything in this verse. Yeah, go ahead, the Hata Vyataha, same thing, similar thing. So they are Hata Vyatha Yasya Saha. Similarly, this Tulyavastha, Tulya Avastha Yasya Saha. I put that in the document anyway. As Tulya Avastha Yasya Saha. Tulya Avastha Yasya Saha. And then Swasuhu is Shashti Ekvachanam of Swasur Pratipadikam. Bhaginyaha. So Bhaginyaha Tulya Avastha. So now this, see, normally this should have been inside the compound. Should be Swasur Tulya Avastha. But this is what it says, that Gamakatvat. Is because this has to really has obvious connection with Tulyavastha only. Tulyavastha only. So there's no other possibility. So this is connecting with the Tulya. So Swasuhu Tulya. So Kritaha. So Kumbhakarna, who was put in a similar state as his sister. Swasuhu Tulyavastha Kritaha. Then Rurodha, so Swasuhu is Shashti Ekvachanam of Swasru. That sutram which we know is Ruta Utta. And then Rurodha is the Tingantam Padam. Rurodha is very similar, very simple. Lit lakaraha, nothing very complicated here. Of course, the pratyaya lit is being coming here. You see this in the daily post many times now. Tip becomes null by 3482. In Abhyasa Karyam Haladisheshaha and Puganta Labhupatasya cha Rurodha. Rurodha means he constrained, he obstructed, he blocked. So Ramam, so simple sentences that Kumbhakarnaha Ramam Rurodha. Kumbhakarnaha blocked Ramaha. He kind of trapped him. He trapped Ramaha. Ramam Rurodha. Obstructed him. Then there's a Iva. Shungi Iva. Shungi. Yesterday we saw this in yesterday's class, is the Ata Initanau. So Shungam Asyasti. Prashastam Shungam Asyasti ti Shungi. Shunga is a peak. So one who has a peak is Shungi. So 52115 is Ata Initanau. So Shungam Asyasti iti Shungi. Just like a word Bali, like a word Dandi, Dandin, Chakrin, or Chatrin. So all these words we have. So one who has that. So Shungi means Parvataha. So now again, match the vibhaktis on both sides. Kumbhakarna is Prathamantam. So Shungi is Prathamantam. The Shungin Pratipadikam, and Upada Dirgha by Saucha. This Anuji's favorite sutram 6413. This all I don't put in document because this has been done in the daily examples now a lot of times. So the Subandha Prakriya and the Sandhi Karyani Punaha Nochante. So we're going to mention this again and again because we've done many times. So this Upada Dirgha is by Saucha Sutram. If you practice your homework, look at Saucha. So Shungi, so Shungin Pratipadikam becomes Shungi. like yogin becomes yogi, etc. So the Kumbhakarna is being compared to a mountain, Parvataha Iva. And he has an adjective now, Tankachinna Manashilaha. So Manashila is a special kind of like some kind of mineral. It's a mineral which has like a red color in that. So it says, if let's look see what Apte says, it's a kind of a mineral which is found on mountain. It has a reddish color. So that is Manashila. So this is a kind of stone which has given the word Manas. So Manashabdena Vachya Shila, Manashila. Manashila. Let's see if you can get that. No, okay. I think I have to look under Mana. Give me 1 second. Manashila. Okay. Manashila. Let me see. Manas. Okay, Manashila. Yeah, Manashila. Here it is. Manashila. Red arsenic. Oh, it's arsenic. It's red arsenic. It's arsenic which is found. So now, and Tanka. Tanka is what is said is Pashana Dharanaha. It's a weapon. It's like an axe or a knife for this cutting stones. So stone cutter. So Tanka is a stone cutter. Pashana Dharanaha for cutting stones. So then Tanka Chinna. So you can say Tankena Chinna. Manashilaha. So he's like so he says that he gives a Vigraha Vakyam. Is Tankena Shila Bhedaka Shastrena. So Shila Bhedaka. So Bhedakaha means one which splits. So Shila Bhedaka. So Shilanam Bhedakaha. So one which is a stone cutter. Shila Bhedaka Shastrena. So it's a weapon which cuts stones. Then Chinna Manashila Rakta Varna Dhatu Visheshaha. So this is a special kind of a mineral of reddish color, red arsenic. Yes, Saha Tathokta. The entire thing is, so again let's apply our same technique. Is Tankena Chinna. Tankena Chinna is a Tatpurusha compound, Titya compound by Kartakarane Kruta Bahulam. And as we just said, once we form a Tatpurusha compound, we can reduce that compound to the Uttara Padam. This one is Kartakarane Kruta Bahulam. So that is this one, 312-132. So Krut Pratya, the end, so Kartakarane can be compounded. So it says that, so Tankena Chinna, Tanka Chinna. Very simple Tatpurusha compound. And we can just take Chinna now. So then make it a Bahuri compound with this one. The one, as we also said by the Sutram Nishtha. In the Bahuri compound, many times you'll have the Nishthantam Padam as the Pura Padam. We just saw that. We just saw it in the word Hatavyataha, Gatavyataha. So Hata Vyatha Yasya Saha. Same thing here. It's very similar compound. This is Chinna Manashila Yasya Saha. Tatoktaha means it's an adjective of that kind. Adjective qualifying the Shungi. So, did we see it one more time? Okay. So, we just saw it in Hatavyatha. We just saw that. So, here also Manashila when we take, same thing. We have to do the Rasva Deshaha by Gostyor Prasajanasya. So, in the end, Rasva Deshaha. In fact, the same two rules again. The Pumvad Bhavaha. So, because Chinna becomes Chinna by 6334. Striyaha Pumvad Bhashita Pumsakadanung Samadhikarane Striyam Purani Priyadishu. And then at the end the Shila becomes Shila. Shila because of Gostyor Prasajanasya 1-48. And this says Tankaha Pashana Dharanaha iti. Then Dhatur Manashila Dyadrehe iti Amaraha. So these Manashila etc. These are the minerals found on the mountains. Dhatuhu Manashiladyadrehe. So these are the minerals found in the mountains. Then Shungiva, Shikhariva. So Shunga can also mean a horn, but doesn't mean, so he clarifies. he clarifies. The Shringa does not mean a horn over here. It means a peak. Shikari, of course, the Prakriya is the same. Ata initana, which you just saw yesterday. Ata initana. So Shringin Pradipadikam. Then Ramam Rurodha. So he obstructed Ramaha. Now, so let's take it from the top, is Kapindrena Sugrivena. And then the Sugrivena is Kapina Mindraha Kapindraha Shreshtaha Kapindrena Sugrivena. Now look at the word Kritaha. The Kritaha is used karmani because of Tayoreva Krityakta Kalarthaha. This Pratyanishta Pratyaha Krita has been used. Of course, Kru is Anit Dhatu, so we get the there's no Vidagamaha. So Kritaha. Now, because this is a passive form, the Karta, which is Sugrivaha Kapindraha, he takes Tritiya because of Kartakarnayos Tritiya. He's Anabhita Karta, he gets Tritiya. So what I'm talking about, if you want to do some homework, is that 2, 3, 18 Kartakarnayos Tritiya, Anabhita Karta. So when the karta doesn't connect with the verb or the participle, then he takes Tritiya Vibhakti. So here we get Kapindrena. I mean, similarly we say Ramena Vali Hataha, usual examples. So that's why Kapindrena, Sugrivena, Swasuhu of the sister means it's connecting with the Swasuhu Tulya. So Shurpanakhayaha Tulya Vasataha. And then he says he was reduced to a state similar to that of his sister. Shurpanakhayaha. Now, why did he say that? Nasa karnachedena sadrishaha kritaha. Because Sugrivaha cut off Kumbhakarna's nose and ears. So that's why he was reduced to a state similar to that of his sister. So Nasa karnachedena sadrishaha kritaha. Means he was made, his state was reduced to that of his sister. In fact, there's a comment here, Professor Dev, I'll read out to you. He says that Tulya Vasataha Swasuhu, Sugriva was caught and taken to Lanka by Kumbhakarnaha before he had recovered consciousness. As soon as he recovered, he cut off the ears and nose of Kumbhakarnaha and managed to escape. That's what it is. And then Tankachinnaha says, the huge giant Kumbhakarna, whose body was blood-stained, is compared by the poet to a mountain, whose red mineral, arsenic, is chipped away with a chisel. So that is the shloka. Okay, let's look at the translation. You ready, sir? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So reduced is or made is what?
Okay.
Krita was made, reduced to a condition similar.
Tulyavastha.
Tulyavastha means tulya avastha yasyasaha. Similar thing again, Bahuvri compound, umvad bhava for the Purapadam, Raswadesha in the Pradipadikam. So tulya avastha yasyasaha, tulya avastha. So condition similar to that of his sister is
Swasuhu.
Swasuhu. Now one thing I didn't take quickly is that in the document I did put something here is Swasuhu, we talked about Sutram is Rita Ut. Now Shashti, when you say a word in terms of Sadrisha or Tulya, you can use Shashti or Tritiya. Sutram is 2372 and the Adhikara of Shashti, which starts from 2350, is towards the end. As I mentioned to you many times, you have to assign any vibhakti in this language. You have to find a sutram in 2.3. You have to find a sutram. At the end of the day, you have to find a sutram. And here is the sutram Tulyarthaihi, Tulyarthairatlopamabhyam, Titya Anyatarasyam. So in Tulyarthaihi, so it is used in connection with the word in the meaning of Tulya. So here you have Tulya itself right here. And then Tritiya Anyatarasyam. Tritiya can be used optionally. And when otherwise Shashti the Adhikara. So Swasuhu is Shashti, is by the Sutram 2372. Tulyarthairatulopamabhyam Titiya Nitrasyam. Okay. And then Chinna, we have done this before. Chidir dvaidhikarane. So the ir is an it, by the vartikam ira is sanya vacha. And then chid plus kta, there is no idagamaha, because in the danteshu, this is because eka chupadishanudattat, which you have seen in great detail. So in the danteshu, among the dhatus ending in dakaraha, chid, one of those dhatus which does not allow any idagamaha. So the eka cha upadeshanudattat is a nisheda sutra. So that stops the idagamaha, which would have come by ardhadhatukasya maladehe. So when we look at the list of danteshu, nihataha smutaha, so which dhatus, dakarantas, are udattupadeshaha. And in that list we have ada, kshudha, khida, chida. So chida is anit dhatu. It doesn't allow idagamaha. Always remember that idagama comes to pratyaha, not to the dhatu. Dhatu only allows it or disallows it. So in nishedha, and then comes sutram radabhyam nishthato naha purvasitadha. Chinna, klinna, tunna, bhinna. All these words is that if a dhatu is in the rep or dakaraha, then following that the nishtha dakara becomes nakaraha, and the dakara of the dhatu also becomes nakaraha. So radabhyam nishthato naha purvasya cha daha. So the prior dakara also becomes nakara. So this sutram does two things. If you want to do some homework, you look at this sutram. It does two things. It makes the dakara into a nakaraha, as well as makes this dakara into nakaraha. So nishthato naha purvasya cha daha. In the place of the prior dakara also is nakara. Then we get chinna. Chinna comes in Gita many times. Chinna dvaitha. So that you know. So 441, 525. So this comes in Gita in a few places. 441 in Gita. So chinna samshayam. Then 525. It used quite a few times in Gita. So when you chant the shloka of Gita, remember the sutram. Radabhyam nishthato naha purvasya cha daha. So chinna dvaidha. I think that's what I had in this. Chinda manashilaha is same umad bhavaha and then manasvadesha by gostu rupasajanasya. Tulyavastha yasya saha, same thing, bhavi compound. And then shringamasya sthiti shringi, we just talked about that. Atta inita now. Okay, alright, I'm sorry. Let's continue with the translation. So of his sister is Vasuhu. By the lord of monkeys is
Kapindrena.
Sugrivena. So Kapinam Indra Kapindra. These are very straightforward forms. Kumbhakarna is Kumbhakarna. He's not passive now, so he was made to be put. He was put in a similar state as his sister. In English, I would say in English, he was put in a similar state as his sister. And then Kumbhavivakarnau yasya saha. He made an onslaught towards. I think that is the Rurodha. So he blocked, he obstructed, he constrained. That's he made an onslaught towards. Rama is Ramam. So like is
Iva.
Like we all. A mountain. What is the mountain? Shringin Pradipadikam, one which has a peak. Having its red arsenic cut down by the stone cutting instrument. That's this whole thing.
Tanka chinna
manashilaha. So the stone cutter is the tanka. And then cut down is chinna. So tankena chinna manashila dhatu visheshaha yasya saha. So this having its, this is the Bahuvari. Red arsenic is manashila. Cut down is chinna, and the stone cutter is tankach. Okay, so I think, thank you, sir. So these are now not that difficult verses anymore. I think I hope that you're getting some more confidence in these. You can see not that many difficult forms anymore. We're getting one or two forms maybe here and there, but nothing that much difficult. But maybe with the commentary and the good translation, I think at this point we should be quite at ease with these verses. So, Akale bodhito bhratra priyasvapno vritha bhavan Rameshubhir iti vasau dirgha nidram praveshitaha. Akale bodhito bhratra priyasvapno vritha bhavan Rameshubhir iti vasau Dirgha nidram praveshitaha. Padachya, that's akale bodhitaha. Bhratra. Priya sapnaha. Again a Bahuvri compound, very simple Bahuvri compound. So Priyaha, Swapnaha, Yasya Saha. So one to whom sleep is very dear. Priya Nidraha. Swapna means Nidraha. So Swapna we use a sense of dreaming. Also means sleeping simply. Swapnaha. So Priyaha, Swapnaha, Yasya Saha. Kumbhakarnaha. So it is Kumbhakarnaha who basically, for whom sleeping is very dear to him. He likes to sleep. So Priya Sapnaha. Vritha is an amvyam, means unnecessarily. Vritha means unnecessarily, with no purpose. With no purpose. Prayojanam vina. Prayojanam vina is vritha. Prayojanam vina means no use, no purpose. Unnecessarily. Vritha bhavan. Of course, bhavan is prathama ekvachanam. Pradipadikam bhavat means user. And iti. Rame shubhihi iti iva. The idiomatic combination iti iva. Asau, dirgha nidram, simple karmadharya compound. Dirgha nidram. Now here, of course, in the karmadharya compound we just looked at today's class, Pumvat bhava is by 6342. Pumvat karmadharya jatiya deshi yeshu. Pumvat karmadharya jati. That this jati and deshi are pratyaya. Let's not worry about that jati and deshi. They're not very commonly used at all. So simple thing is Pumvat karmadharaye. You want to make a simple sutram. Pumvat karmadharaye. So this is, and don't forget, 6-3 means what? We are the adhikara of Uttarapade. So when Uttarapadam follows, then what happens to the Purapadam? Purapada sambandhikaryam. So in the karmadharya compound, the Purapadam becomes Pumvat. 6342, we just saw that. So simple, this Dirgha Nidra become Dirgha Nidra. This is not a Bahuvri compound. You know that. If it's a Bahuvri compound, it would be in a Rasva Deshadi. It could have been Bahuvri compound qualifying somebody feminine. But this is a simple Karmadharya compound, Visheshanam Visheshana Bahulam. So Dirgha Nidra. Simple adjective noun. Praveshitaha. Okay, so simple sentence. There is an iti. This entire first line is like an iti. Iti eva, as if thinking thus. As if thus. Eva is as if. As if thus. As if implying thus. As if thinking thus. As if considering this. As if considering this. So it's iti eva, iti eva. So this entire first thing is in the quotation. But time we can leave the quotation out. So simple sentence, asau, whose pradipadikam is adas. See all these, rules we have seen how to form asau from pradipadikam adas. If you want to do some practice, see that you can look adasa au sulopascha. Adasa au sulopascha. You can practice this sutram, adasa au sulopascha sutram. That if you want to do some practice. So this other text, in fact, list we have seen this 72107. Let me see if we can quickly find a nice post for us. 72107. This we must come up with a nice post. 72107. This we have seen many times. Adasa au sulopascha. 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 Oh no. Something happened to this website. Adasa au sulopascha. Adasa au sulopascha. Adasa au sulopascha. Okay, here it is. Adasa au sulo. Okay, let's look at this post over here. Adasa au sulopascha. These posts now have been, are helping us to, because I must have asked a question over here. Okay, here, where has this sutram been used? Adasa au sulopascha. So it's last question over here. So here it is sutram adas plus su. So these are all the steps are given here. So these posts take a lot of time to prepare. But now we have all the steps. The only request is that if you see any error, any typo, just send a quick email saying that there's a typo in this and take a look. Your email will not go to everybody, so don't worry. Your email doesn't go to everybody. It only comes to us and we'll make the corrections. So anyway, the steps are here. Adas plus su was so just prathama ekvachanam. Then adasa au sulopascha. So the su takes lopaha. Alontyasya, this ending sakara becomes au. That's what's meant by adasa au. So in place of others, put the au adesha. Alontyasya. So the sakara becomes au, and then sulopascha, the su goes away, becomes other plus au, and then vridhyadesha adau, and then tadasasavanantayoho. So dakara of adau gets a sakara adesha replaced, but tadosasavanantayoho. So tadoho, that the takara or dakaraha, anantayoho, so not at the end. Take the sakara adesha when su pratyaya follows. In this section of tyadadinam. So tyadadinam, don't forget this section of tyadadinam. These tyadadis, what happens is that the dakara takes the sakara adesha when su follows, as long as anantayo is not at the end. So tadoho, sasavanantayoho. So sauparataha. When the pratyaya su follows, then a non-ending takara or dakaraha of one of these tyadadi pronouns, it takes the sakara desha. So this sutram tadosasavanantayoho. 72106, you can look at it quickly. Anyway, this is just practice. You've done this many times in the examples. So, but good practice. Tadosasavanantayoho. The form already you know. So try to go one step deeper and see if you can figure out the rules. And the subandha prakriya should be now straightforward. So tyadadinam, takara dakara yoho anantya yoho, non-ending. Sakaradesha bhavati, sauparataha. Okay, so we get the word saha and we get the word asau, etc. Now the question only came is that because we did su lopaha, how can we say sauparataha? Because pratyaya lope pratyaya lakshanam. Pratyaya lope pratyaya lakshanam. Pratyaya lakshanam. So, so then we can sauparataha, so we get asau. Alrighty. Now, okay. And you know what, this is the, remember one thing is that this sakaraha is a lopaha. It's not a luk, shlu, lupa. Because nalumata angasya says that no lumata, so lumata shabdena lupte. When you use luk, shlu or lup, then no angakaryam can be done based on the pratyaya anymore. Nalumata angasya. But this was just a lopaha. Su lopascha. So here there is no application for nanumata angasya. So we can use pratyaya lope pratyaya lakshanam. So we can say pratyaya su is following. We have a non-ending dakara of a tyadadi pronoun, and therefore it takes sakadasha asau. So please practice these rules. So it's all on the website, so hope we can use this website. The good thing now is that for now and forever, the website is there. So all these examples have been documented, and of course they need to be improved upon, but they can be used. So asau is pratama ekvachanam. Pullingi, it can be stilingi also. In this case it's pullingi. It gives the same form. The same form in the feminine and the masculine. So here it is asau kumbhakarnaha, because again from the context. In the previous shloka itself we saw kumbhakarnaha. So kumbhakarnaha is asau. So this kumbhakarnaha, that kumbhakarnaha, you know there are these four pronouns, right? Etad, idam, adas and tat. Now tat tu parokshe vijaniya. Tat is only parokshe. So when somebody is in front of you, you should not say saha vadati saha gacchati, so saha gacchati, because that is not correct. Because tat pradipadikam should be only used parokshe, when somebody is not visible to you. Now idam, etad, idam and others are all used when you can see that thing or person. But among that, others is the farthest away. You can still see it, but and the very nice example is asavadityo brahma. Means that aditya. Means you can still see aditya. You can point at it. So others can be seen. I mean, Surya can be seen even it's very far away, but it is not parokshe still. Not parokshe. Now, ether idam are almost synonymous, except ether is really close, supposedly. idam is slightly foreign, but those are used kind of interchangeably. But others can be, in English you can say that in English, but that which is not hidden from view. Okay, in English, as others is that which is not hidden from view. So that Kumbhakarnaha, of course in this case is Kalidasa talking, but you can say he's kind of right there, so to speak, in the story. So it is that Kumbhakarnaha. Now simple sentence is right, Rame Shubhihi. So Ramasya Ishubhihi. Ramasya Ishuho Rameshuho. Very straightforward Shashti compound and Adgunaha. Rame Shubhihi. Kumbhakarnaha, Aso Kumbhakarnaha, Dirgha Nidram Praveshitaha. Now, notice that it is not Pravishtaha, Praveshitaha. So this is two things have happened here. First of all, the dhatu is wish, to enter. Comes in Gita, right? Upavishata, chapter 1 of Gita, last shloka. Wish to enter, Pravesha. Pravesha, very, very, very common dhatu. Pravish is to enter. So Pravishati is to enter. Now, you notice that it's taken a guna adesha, becomes vesh. Now, if the pratyaya being added is a kit pratyaya, nishtha pratyaya, taktavatu nishtha, the pratyaya kta is nishtha, it's a kit pratyaya. Then how can the wish take a guna adesha? By puganta laghupatasya. So that should be a tripa, that should be an indicator, something has happened here. It did not become pravishtaha, entered, is praveshitaha. That's one thing. Secondly is the ikara coming over there. Dhatu, wish. Let's go to our list. Talavya shanteshu. What do we have? In 7 to 10, shanteshu. I think dhatu, wish should be in there. Let's see if it is there. Wish in shanteshu. Shanteshu krusha damsha disha drisha mrisha risha risha lisha. Wish, here it is. This dhatu is anudakta padeshaha, means that it does not allow idagamaha. So considering these two things, is firstly the gunadesha, if you just add a pratyaya, nishtha pratyakta, there should be no gunadesha, because kinitya should stop that. Second thing is that this will not allow idagamaha. So dhatu. Then how we get the praveshitaha? Because the pratyaya nich is in there, it's a causative form. He was made to enter. So by Rama's arrows, that Kumbhakarna was made to enter into a long sleep. Means he was forced into a very long sleep. Means he was basically killed. Hata ityartha. So one more time is this praveshitaha. If you look at the commentary, Dirgha Nidram is Maranam. he makes it straightforward. Dirgha Nidram is very long sleep. Means Maranam. Praveshitaha. Praveshitaha means that Gamitaha. Look at, he uses the same thing, Gamitaha. Made to go. So Gamita is the same thing. Did not become Gataha, but Gamitaha. Same thing, the Gam added nish pratyaha. Of course, this is the Gamitaha because Mitam Raswaha becomes Gamitaha, not Gamitaha. That we have seen in the Sutra, Mitam Raswaha. Any dhatu ending in is considered to be a mit. Then by 6,492, Mitam Raswaha. This we have seen in previous classes, Mitam Raswaha. Mitam Raswaha, 6,492, Mitam Raswaha. So we get Gamitaha. In fact, if you give me a second, I'm sure we have seen this in the prior class, Mitam Raswaha. Jani, Jirush, let me see. I think we have this. I'm sorry. This is the Ganasutram under the Ghatadayaha Mitaha. Jani, Jirush. Okay, here it is. So Gami, here it is. We have seen this in the prior class. What happened? Okay, here it is. So Gamitaha is when you add the pratyaya nich to Gami, what happens is that first you get the Atupadhaya, but then Mitam Rasa. This Ganasutram Jani Jirush Knasuranjo Mantascha Amanta Dhatava Mitaha. It becomes, so this by Mitam Raswaha, this vowel becomes, the A becomes Akaraha, becomes Gamita. In fact, I told you, these documents are so good now. Well, if any of these forms almost like 80% is now already in these documents. So which is good. It takes a lot of time to prepare them, but once we have them, you can use them. So Gamitaha, we had this in some prior class. I don't know when it was. When was this? This was in June of last year. Anyway, I know we had in the prior class. So Mitam Rasvaha. So if you want to do some homework, you can. This Gana Sutram is under the Ghata Deha Mitaha. It's Jani Jirush Kanasuranjo Mantascha. So any Amanta Dhatu is considered to be a myth, and then we get Mitam Rasvaha. This basically the effect of Otobadha is kind of reversed out. So we get the Akara takes the Akara Adesha Mitam Rasvaha. So 6492 Upadhayaha Rasvadesha. Okay, so Gamitaha means he was made to enter. So instead of taking Pravish, Mulinatha takes Gamitaha. So he made Praveshitaha. Praveshitaha means Gamitaha. He was made to go. He was forced into. He was forced into a long sleep. Means he was hataha. So Maranam Gamitaha. He was basically forced into death. And then he gives the bhavartha here, yatha. Okay, before we go there, let's look at the first half of the shloka. It says that Bhavan Priya Swapnaha. So you, sir, are fond of sleep. So Priyaha Swapnaha Yasya Saha. Priya Nidraha. Then Bhratra Bodhitaha. Same thing, Bodhitaha. So Buddha is awakened. Bodhitaha means awakened. So made to awake. Same thing there. Dhatu Buddha, add the pratyaya nich first. The same, so Bodhitaha. So you were made to awake. Made to come on your senses. So Buddha is to be, to be aware. So to be awake, to be on your senses, so to be enlightened also. So Bodhitaha, Bhratra. Again, Bhratra. So Bhratra Ravanena, Vrtha Bodhito Bhavan. Unnecessarily you're woken up by your brother. Because you are fond of sleep. So Priya Swapno Bhavan, Vrtha Bhrata Bodhitaha. Unnecessarily you're woken up to your brother. Akale means na kale, akale, ayukta kale, at the wrong time. Unnecessarily you are woken up by a brother. Iti iva. Iti means thinking thus, as if considering this. Why the arrows? So who's the karta here? Who's thinking this? The arrows of Rama. The arrows of Rama are saying that you, sir, are fond of sleep. But for no reason, you were woken up by a brother at the wrong time. So what we are going to do is that we're going to force you into a long sleep now. So there's no waking up. Uttanam nasti. So now basically this is a poetic way of saying that Rama killed Kumbhakarna. The simple shloka is that Rama Kumbhakarnam Jaghana. But this is Kalidasa, so they will not do that. So this is a poetic way of saying that Rama's arrows, thinking that, as if thinking, that's itiwa, as if thinking, that you, sir, Kumbhakarna, are fond of sleep. At the wrong time, you were unnecessarily woken up by a brother. So we will make you enter into a long sleep now, for a long time. So let's follow the commentary. Akale is na kale, akale is naintat purusha, then na lopo nayaha. Na lopo nayaha. The beginning nakara of the nai pratyaha takes lopaha. I'm sorry, 6373. Na lopo nayaha, 6373. Akale, ayukta kale. So priya sapnaha, he gives a paryaya shabda, ishta nidraha. So ishta nidra yasya saha. Same thing basically. Pumvad bhavaha. Today is the day of Pumvad bhava. So today is the day of 6334 1 to 48. 6334 1 to 48. One more time. 6334 is for the Purva Padam. Don't confuse these two, please. 1 to 48, the Rasva Desha at the end. At the end of a Pradipadikam, if a term has Upasajana Sanya, and also let's remind ourselves, Sarva Upasajano Bahuvrihi. Bahuvri Samasa, every term is Upasajana Sanya. So 1 to 48 gives a Rasva Desha for Nidra becomes Nidra, the compound, because that Nidra has no Upasajana Sanya. It's for Bahuvri compound. And the Ishta becomes Ishta by 6334. Striyaha, Pumvad, Bhashita Pumskadanung, Samadhikarane Striyama Purani Priyadisho. So Priyaha Swapna Yasya Saha, Ishta Nidra Yasya Saha. Then Anujaha, younger brother. Anujata, Anuja. This also we have seen in the prior lesson. Really, we have seen so many of these forms already. It's quite satisfying to know that we have covered this form in so much detail. So that sutram is 32101. Anyeshvapi drishyate pratyaya da. If you look at one of the Wednesday class notes, you'll find the sutram there. Anujaha is formed by 32101. So you who are the younger brother, who are fond of sleep, Bhavan, you, is qualifying Bhavan. Vritha, in Avyam. Vritha is an Avyam, by the way. Bhratra Ravanena. Pradipikam Bhratru. Tritya Ekvachanam. Of course, simple eco energy. Ravanena Akale. Ayukta Kale. Ayukta Samaye. At the wrong time. Bodhitaha. Iti Iva. As if thinking thus. Asau Kumbhakarna. Who's thinking thus? Is that the Rameshavaha. The arrows of Rama are thinking thus. I mean, of course, this is poetic. The arrows cannot think, but as if the arrows are as if telling him that you, sir, were fond of sleep. You woken up at the wrong time. Don't worry. We'll put you back to sleep, basically. So, Asau Kumbhakarnaha. Rame Shubhi. Look at the sandhi here. Rori. 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 Which is 8-3-14. Repasya repe lopaha. Repasya repe lopaha. Then dra lope purus dirghornaha. 63111. These didn't put a document all these sandhi rules. So if you want to practice, Rori followed by dhalope purusha dirghonaha. So ishubhi Rama Banehi Diga Nidram is Maranam. Praveshitaha, we just saw that, Gamitaha. And then Yatha. Now he's giving some commentary on that. So the word by word commentary he gave. So Yatha Lokeshu. So in the world we see, in life we see this, Lokesho. Ishta vastu vinash dukkhitasya. Ishta vastu is a Karmadhara compound, something which is dear to somebody. Vinasha. So Ishta vastu naha vinasha. But the loss of a thing which is dear to someone, dukkhitasya. So vinashina dukkhita. You see the simple compound. Ishta vastu is Karmadhara compound, adjective noun. Then tasya vinashaha. Shashti. Then vinashina dukkhitaha. So one who's sad. So one who's sad. So for one, tasya, who's sad because he lost something which he liked. He or she liked. Tataha api bhuyishtam upapadyate. We said, okay, you lost this something which you had. You lost some money. Yes, something more than that. Make you even more happy. Tato api bhuyishtam upapadyate. Upapada, this is causative passive. Dhatu pad, upapad. Upapadyate means he's given, he's kind of arranged for him. He's made to get. So upapadyate. So upapad, make it upapadi, adding nich, atupadhaya, and then make upapadyate as a passive form. Adding pratya, yak, and then niraniti. Like karyate, sadhyate, upapadyate. So bhuyishtam upapadyate. Tadvad iti bhavaha. So in the world, in life, we see that. Someone loses something that he likes, then okay, we'll give him something even more than that. So to make him happy. So similarly, Kumbhakarna was fond of sleep. He was woken up at the wrong time. So Rama's arrow said, don't worry, we'll put you into a forever sleep now. So we'll make you even more happy. Okay, let's look at the translation. So it is a simple sentence is that Ramaha Kumbhakarnam Jagana. So Rama killed Kumbhakarna is a simple meaning of shloka. Okay, not this one. The next one is, let's see. You ready, sir?
Yes.
So fond of sleep.
Priyaswapnaha. Priyaswapnaha.
Priyaswapnaha. So priya, swapnaha, swapaha, shayanam, nidra. Yes. As you are.
Bhavan.
I think it's an adjective to him, so it's a Bhavri compound. So it's this, it is qualifying him. So this is, I think, just applied in the context. So you is Bhavan.
Bhavan.
Have been aroused.
Bodhitaha.
Bodhitaha. Aroused. So Buddha is aroused, but you have been aroused. The causative form. You have been aroused. In vain.
Vritha.
Vritha. Vritha is an aviyam, means in vain. Let's take this word. You have been aroused from sleep is the entire thing is bodhita, okay? Have been aroused from sleep, that's understood. In vain is vrutha. By your brother,
Bhrata.
bhratra.
Bhratra.
Bhratru, add the pratyaya ta, then anubandha lopa chutu, and then iko nachi, bhratra.
Bhratra.
Out of time,
Akale.
akale, ayukta kale. So nakalaha, akalaha. So even if we've seen this as nai has various meanings, doesn't mean no time at all. The inappropriate time. So we saw the example, which given the example is that this is from the Mahabhashyam. Abrahmanaha yaha tishtan mutrayati. One who stands, one who urinates while standing. One urinates while standing is abrahmana. Doesn't mean there's no brahmana. Kutsita brahmana means that he is not fit to be a brahmana. So same akalaha means that there's no time at all. It's a wrong time. It's a bad time. So bad brahmana. So bad time. At a bad time you were woken up. Okay. With these words of consolation, what do you think would you use for that?
Iti iva.
Iti. I think iti, just iti. Just iti. So that iti has an extra connotation. Iti matva, iti suchayan, something like that, Iti suchayat bhi. So something like we have to supply. Then as it were is the iva. Iva. So he is, you can say that is who?
Asau.
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 It comes in Gita, Asau mayata shatru, hanishye chaparanapi. So this enemy has been killed by me. I will kill others also. Chapter 16. Asau mayata shatru. Chapter 16 of Gita. Was made to enter. This?
Praveshitaha.
Praveshitaha. Not pravishta, praveshitaha. Pratyaya nich, add which plus nich, you get veshi. And then, one thing I forgot in pravesh, in fact, I'm sorry, the document, it didn't go document. Praveshitaha. Nakalaha, akala, we talked about that. Nalopo nanyaha. Then Buddha, avagamane, there are two things, Buddha and 2-3 ganas they are. Same thing, Buddha plus nich becomes bodhi. Ugandha lagupadasya cha. Hetumati cha nich. Anubandha lopaha. Ugandha lagupadasya cha. Then dhatu sanya. Sanadhyanta dhatavaha. Then pratyakta. Nishtha pratyak. Taktavatu nishtha. What happens is that this kta pratyaya, because bodhi is anekash dhatu, because nothing can stop the ardhadhatuka syed valadehe. Once we add this nich pratyaya, then we cannot invoke the ekach upadeshanudatta, because now it's become bodhi. So new dhatu bodhi, vasanajanta dhatavaha. So, and then what happens is nishtayam seti. Sutram which you use all the time, niraniti, anida da ardhadhatuke pare ne lopasyat. The next sutram is nishtayam seti, because niraniti only applies when the pratyaya does not have any idagama. You cannot use that here. But nishtayam seti. If you have a nishtha pratyaya with the idagama, seti nishtayam, then also nish takes lopa. So same thing in praveshitaha. So praveshita is same thing. Visha praveshane. Praveshita is similar to that one. You also get the dhatu veshi. Idagama comes. And then the nish takes lopa. So really what we see in praveshita and bodhitaha comes in Gita. Mohitam nabhijanati. So comes in Gita chapter 7. Mohitam. This word has been diluted. Caused to be diluted. Mohitam. Not mugdha or mudha, but mohita. So that comes in Gita. So here what we see in the end is this ikara is the idagama. It's not the nish pratyaya. Because nish takes lopa with nishtayam seti. Then priya sapna yasya saha, we saw that. Dirgha nidra, similar, this is Karmadharya compound. Umvat by 6342. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, let's go back to this one. So made to enter, yeah. Made to enter is
Praveshitaha.
Praveshitaha. Into long sleep.
Nididha nidram.
With maranam. Death. By the arrows of Rama.
Rameshubhi.
Rameshubhi. Thank you, sir. This is again a passive usage. He was made to enter by the arrows. This is the kartaraha, but they are now in the passive. So by kartakarani sthitiya, it's 238. Okay, time's running out. Let me give you some homework for the next shloka. Is actually quite easy shloka. There's nothing much in next shloka at all. Let me give you some homework. Let's read the shloka first. Itaranyapi rakshamsi Petur Vanarakotisho Rajaunsi Samarothani Tachonita Nadishviva Itaranyapi Rakshansi. Very straightforward. Itaranyapi Rakshansi, even other Rakshasa. No, Rakshas and Rakshasa. We said the Prajnadibhyascha Swarthe and comes. So this Rakshas and Rakshasa. Rakshas is a neuter noun, neuter, and Rakshasa, Rakshasaha, masculine. They both mean the same thing, demons. So Itarani is qualifying, of course Itara is Sarvanama Shabdaha. Itaranyaphi Rakshansi. I say even if you cannot get the whole shlokaha, Yadyapi Sarvasya Shlokasya Artho Nagamyate Yathapi Khandashaha. So you can take it, step by step, you can take piece by piece. So you may not know what the whole shloka says, but you should definitely know what is Itarani Rakshansi, other demons. Of course we don't know if it is Prathama Bhavachanam or Dvitiya Bhavachanam, but we know Itarani Rakshansi Api. This is a very straightforward, even if it's Kalidasa, even if it's the most difficult text, at least take the simple words and try to, Pravesha. Shloka Pravesha. So Shloke Pravesha. You make an entrance, at least you got something. So Itaranyapi, of course this is a simple shloka, but Itaranyapi Rakshansi, even other, you can see in the commentary, there's no commentary on this. Very straightforward verse. So Itaranyapi Rakshansi, even other demons, Petuhu. This form Petur has been derived by us in a prior post. The form Petuhu. In fact, if you look at for next time for homework for you, we've all derived this form Petuhu in Jan 27 post. The entire form Petuhu. Of course, we have used the sutram Ata Ekahal Madhye na Adesh Ader Liti. If you want to do some homework, it's already actually done homework for you. But you can look at this post on Jan 27 Petuhu. Petuhu. Let me see if I can quickly show it to you here. So this one we will not derive in the class again. So please take for homework and just look at this post of Petuhu. So already came to you on Jan 27, Petuhu. So Dhatu, Patra, Gatau. So we add the Prasis Tritya, Pratham Purusha Ekavachanam. No, sorry, Bahuvachanam. Pratham Purusha Bahuvachanam. See, now the good thing about having these posts is that we can just refer to these and just take what we want, So lit and then Anubandha Lopaha, Tipta Ji, Pratya Ji comes, Ji gets Sanya of Ardhadhatukam because of Litcha, that stops Katri Shap because Katri Shap is Sarvadhatuke. And then we get the Usa, Desha, Prasipadanam, Nalatus, Usityadi, and then Nivbhaktau Tusmaha, all these usual steps. Then Ditvam, Liti Dhaturanabhyasasya, Liti Dhaturanabhyasasya, and then after that Haladi Sheshaha, Takara goes away. Then we get this Ata Ekahal Madhye Nadesh Ader Liti. So when we have this Madhyavarti Akaraha, which on both sides there's no Sanyukta Vyanjanam, there's no conjugant consonant, and then Pratya following the Kit Pratyaha. So there's no Adesha of the beginning letter in the Abhyasaha. Then look at, if you want to do some homework, it's already been done in the Saturday class, look at this condition. Then we get the Etum and the Abhyasa Lopaha. So we get the Akara becomes Ekaraha, and the Abhyasa takes Lopaha. Get Petuhu. So this will not do in next class. Jan 27 post has already covered that. So Petuhu means they fell down. They fell down. So even the other Rakshasas, Tranipi Rakshani, Rakshansi Petuhu. Vanara Kotishu. So Vanaranam Kotishu. Among the crores of monkeys, in the crores of monkeys, even other Rakshasas kind of fell down. Fell means that Mamruhu means they died. So they crashed. They crashed among the crores of monkeys. Then there's a Iva. Iva. What's Iva saying? Rajaunsi Samarothani Iva. Rajas means can mean impurity. Also mean like particles of dust. Dust. Rajaunsi Samarothani Iva. Utta means arising. Samarothani is Samaratatva Samare Uttani. Like specks of dust rising in a war. Then Tachonita Nadishu Iva. Again, match the bhaktis, please. Rajaunsi is going with Rakshansi. So these Rakshasas were like specks of dust. And they, like dust, falls in the Shonita, Chon means Raktam, Shonitam Raktam. Asrit means blood. So Tat Shonita means Tesham Rakshasam Shonitam. So the blood of the Rakshasas. And then Shonita Nadi means these rivers of blood of the Rakshasas. So just like the specks of the, dust was dropping in these streams of blood of the Rakshasas. Similarly, other Rakshasas were dropping dead and were kind of vanishing among the crores of monkeys. So, we'll do the small Vyakaranam in the next class. Time is up. Just do the translation and we'll stop with that. So, you ready, sir?
Okay.
Okay, let's do, because we'll do the Vyakaranam in the next class. How about other? What is other?
Itarani.
Itarani. No Itarani comes in Tetraupanishad. No Itarani. Itarani is qualifying Rakshamsi. Also is
Api.
Api is also. Very straightforward shloka. Nothing in this shloka really. Fell.
Petuhu.
That's for homework for you. Jan 27 class. Okay. Post. On is a Saptami. The crores of monkeys is
Vanara Kotishu.
See, very straightforward sentence. Itarani api rakshamsi vanara kotishu petuhu. Then they appeared. Appeared like.
Iva.
I think say Iva. The entire thing is Iva. Like, as if they appeared like. Dust is
Rajamsi.
In English, it is singular, is plural. Specks of dust raised from the battlefield.
Samarothani.
Utta. Okay, for homework. For next time, of course, you've already done this in the prior classes. But if you want to look at it one more time, is the word Uttani. So derive the word Uttishchatiti Uttani. That we will use this Sutram 3136. You want to use that? 3136 for homework. 3136. So that is 31136. I'm sorry. Atashchopasarge. Okay. Use it later for homework, and then you will also need to use this 8461 also along with that. Udasthastambhoho purvasya. Okay, so that we will use that. So try to find the Utta for homework. Utta, okay. And you also need to use that Jarojari Savarne. So these three. Atashchopasarge, then Udasthastambhoho purvasya, this one, and then Jarojari Savarne for homework. Okay. Yeah, time is up. I'm sorry. Time is up, so let's finish off the translation. Appear like dust, okay, raised from the battlefield, Samarothani. Falling is again, the Petu is common from both. They will not be repeated. Petu. Upon is again Saptami. The streams of their blood. Yes.
Shonita Nadishu.
Tachonita Nadishu. Tesham Rakshasam Shonita Nadishu. Okay, let's stop with that. We'll do it. There's some more grammar next time. Ramo Rajamanis Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bhihata Nishachara Chamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Raman Nasti Paranam Parataram Ramascha Dasosmyaham Rame Chittale Sada Bhotame Bhorama Mamuddhara Rama Rameti Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tatulyam Rama Nama Varanane Shri Rama Nama Varanana